What up, guys? Chaos Overdrive. I need to vent. I need to vent, especially after playing uh, comp play last night with the new Bastion, and then wake up this morning with this video posted on my wall. I gotta say something, man. And a lot of y'all have seen this, and a lot of y'all know what I'm talking about. Especially my closer friends. This is retarded, and what they did right now, Jeff Kaplan. I don't know what you guys are doing over at Overwatch HQ, man. Just let's get into it real quick. Already, for real, another tank. Is that what we doing? Just now, really? You gave us a lame DPSer, and then you turn around and give us a tank. Okay, all right, good job.
Good morning. I'm Jeff from the Overwatch team. Very excited to be here with
Fuck you,
an
Jeff.
awesome developer update because we are introducing the 24th hero to
Crack, baby.
Overwatch
Crack
today.
baby robot.
So we're here to talk about Orisa. Orisa is a brand new character. A lot of you probably haven't heard of her before, but she has a really cool backstory. So we want to talk a little bit about that and introduce you to how Orisa came to be.
Really?
So I'm going to back way up to the Omnic Crisis, which, as many of you know, was this terrible world war that happened.
So wait, first off, you give us all this teaser stuff about Doomfist and building up Doomfist and Terry Crews and May's gonna get the next cinematic and all this crap and oh, you got a new game mode, but let's divert from all that for a second and go with a new hero, a new backstory, and explain nothing that's going on. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you.
Happened where robots sort of took over the world. Humans fought back. Overwatch was a big part of that. We eventually struck peace with the Omnics, but during that Omnic crisis, there were many different Omnic units used in the battles. So, as you know, Bastion, as example, was one of those units that was used
Space
in the
Age,
battle.
you mean?
Well, there was another
Robotic
unit
Space Age?
called the OR-14, which was specifically a unit designed to fight against the humans and be part of the Omnic crisis. Well, fast forward many years later, after the Omnic crisis,
that's what we're trying to do.
Peace has been struck. We're in the city of Nimbani, where humans and Omnics get along great. It's actually one of the most technologically advanced and peaceful cities on the planet. But they start to run into some strife from a local villain who you might have heard of before. His name is Doomfist.
Nimbani is definitely like Overwatch HQ or Blizzard HQ, right?
And in order to start to guard against Doomfist's attack and protect the city against any other dangers that might come about, the citizens of Nimbani developed a more advanced version of the old OR-14 unit, which they, not surprisingly, called the OR-15. So it was one version higher. Well, the OR-15s initially were okay and suited for battle, but they eventually lost horrifically against Doomfist, specifically in a battle that took place in the Nimbani airport. And most of the citizens of Nimbani just gave up on the OR-15, said, they failed miserably.
Which y'all should have did too. You should have just did it.
They're laying in pieces, scattered throughout the airport terminal. This is no good. We give up on these things. Well, there was a young girl who did.
Everybody's about to give up on Overwatch after you put this character out, Jeff. I'm just saying, man.
Didn't give up hope. Her name was Ify. She was an extremely smart girl, excellent at science, robotics, mathematics, programming. She still had hope. She still believed in what these OR-15 units were supposed to do for her city. So
what's she supposed to do for our team?
As a scrappy young girl, took the pieces back to her workshop, worked on this unit, and created the evolution to what the OR-14 and 15s were, and named it Orisa. And she made a single heroic unit that wasn't supposed to be part of a huge battalion, but was supposed to be a specific individual hero, and named it Orisa. So
first off, before we even start with that, I love that he said something This character is not one original hero. This character is a combination of all the other characters. We're gonna get into that. I'm gonna break it down as soon as he gets to it. Come on.
Orisa, in terms of the timeline of Overwatch, is a brand new hero just on the scene. So we have yet to see what Orisa is really going to do. So that's part of what's very exciting. Most of our heroes have a big historical background. We've seen them succeed and fail in their past histories, where Orisa is new on the scene, and it is Efi who has created her, who is really encouraging her to become a new hero of the future.
Of course.
Now, let's talk about mechanically what Orisa does and what she brings to the game, and why we designed Orisa the way we did. So let's talk.
By the way, incoming patch immediately, too.
About her abilities first. First of all, she's a tank. So she will be in the tank role. Her primary weapon is called the Fusion Driver. Think of it as a projectile-based machine gun. She moves a little bit more slowly when she's shooting it, but it has a good range to it. Probably more range than almost any of our tanks have on their weapons. Maybe Zarya's alternate fire goes.
Stop it. Stop it. Please. Please. Why? A long-range based projectile weapon for the longest range for a tank. And secondary shot for Zarya goes pretty far if you know how to aim it. And with me having almost close to 13 plus hours on Zarya alone, I know how far that thing goes. So that's already dumb. That's already stupid.
Equally far. But she's got a good range on it, good rate of fire, really high sustain weapon with a large clip size. So
a tank that can melt bubbles, basically. A moving Bastion. So it's not already bad enough that you buff Bastion, right? But then you give us another mech. You give us someone else to go with Bastion. You gave us someone to help Bastion specifically. This is what you did. You gave us a tank hero to help a DPSer. Like, directly. That's what you did right now.
It's a Fusion Driver. The alternate fire ability on the Fusion Driver is of extreme utility. So
by extreme, they mean really stupid. I mean dumb.
It sends out basically a pulse. Think of Zarya's Graviton charge, which is Zarya's ultimate, but it sends out a single pulse out from her, and then you can click your alternate fire again, and it will bring any affected targets within its radius for a very short period of time. So it's like a little mini Graviton surge that...
Stop! Why? See? And this is what it did. This is part of what I was saying earlier about this character being a mashup of other characters already. So right now, just alone, secondary shot makes for the best like crowd control right now. So even if it's for a second, let's say it brings them in after you click secondary again, and then it brings everybody in, and they're only in there for about 1 or 2 seconds, and then they hurry up and scatter. That 1 or 2 seconds, especially in competitive play, could mean the entire round right there. Because what, you get a Reaper positioned really good to just drop down, even if it's not perfectly timed. When they get ready to scatter, your Reaper should already be down on the floor hitting that ult. What about a pop-out surprise Pharah? Or maybe even a backdoor Ryan? What if you want to play her and Ryan? You start having both of them sandwich teams. Oh my god. Double tank. Oh, come on, man. What are you doing? You don't want us to play tanks in a meta with Ana, but then you turn around and you do this? What are you thinking?
She can do more often, and mostly she's using it for positioning or repositioning her targets. It also, briefly puts them in place. So if you have a teammate who's a Widowmaker or a Hanzo or even Orisa with her great range.
That's dumb. They knew what they were doing, and Jeff screw you for the characters that you just used to try and take advantage of the situation. I just said what would be more devastating, and you guys know optimally what would be devastating too. Maybe the Hanzo if he had his ult and going from a weird angle that they didn't see coming. But like other than that, who's gonna wait to group them up to ult? And even if the Widowmaker is that good, no one's that good. All right, so calm down. And it's not like they can't use their abilities while they're being sucked in. Now, if it cancels out their abilities while being sucked in, like Tracer can't zip out of it, or simply put a Winston can't bubble, or Reinhardt can't shield, then maybe that might start to be a little OP, which would even add to the fact that she'd be better than Zarya. Because if it's secondary fire, even with some type of stipulation, like it has a cooldown or something like that, it would be more oftenly used than waiting about a minute. If you got a good Zarya, maybe about 45 seconds into the match, having her ult, it wouldn't match the cooldown rate for her secondary fire. Period. So, you kind of just took a reason away to run a Zarya. Not that you shouldn't. You should still run a Zarya because this character's going to be dumb. But wait for one of the other powers he's going to name in a second, and you'll see what I mean.
Or God can shoot towards that, and it really helps you line up some critical shots. That can happen. You can also pull people around corners with it. So that's a really fun ability that she has. She also has a tank ability called Fortify. And what Fortify does is it not only makes Orisa a little bit tougher, but it prevents Orisa from sustaining any sort of crowd control ability that might be used against her. So, like the
Say what? Why? 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 A tank that can't be affected by CC. So, Zarya starts doing her ult on your team and you do Fortify. I just move away and shield my team or kill the Zar or disrupt in some kind of way. What? Freeze, don't move? No, I think I'll move. Screw May's ult. What are you guys doing? So first you give her a mini graviton surge, right? And then you give her the ability as a tank to just ignore CC, right? Why? Why? Who's up in the lab at Blizzard just saying this is what we need to do?
most obvious examples are maybe Pharah's concussive blast, which normally knocks people around, moves them out of position. If Orisa has Fortify on and she's going over that bridge in the Gardens of Lijiang Tower, you can't knock her off at that point.
So no Lucio Boop either? So it's worse than what I thought. See, I was thinking narrow-minded. This is the time that he opened it up. I was thinking in terms of ults, which, of course, you're going to really want to use your Fortify during an ult. But you also get no crowd control on Concussive Blast or Lucio's Boop. Jeff, what's up, man?
She's in place. Plus, she doesn't take as much damage as well. So Fortify is a very useful, very straightforward tank
very
ability.
Dumb ability.
Now, one of Orisa's most defining abilities is her protective barrier. The protective barrier is, think along the lines of Reinhardt's barrier shield or Winston.
Oh, just hold on. What were you about to say? Were you about to say Winston?
Winston's barrier bubble that he throws out. The protective barrier has quite a range to it. It's roughly the size and shape of about half of Winston's bubble, and it goes out anywhere where she targets it.
Yeah, keep that pose. Keep that pose for me, Jeff. Thank you. Thank you so much. So, we got Zarya, right? And then you give us Winston in the same character. We have a Zarya and a Winston. Speaking of which, let's stop on that point. You haven't fixed Winston. Is that the face you're going to give me when I ask, why haven't you fixed Winston? I mean, he's not trash, but under the wrong circumstances, under the right circumstances even still, he's pretty bad. You need to buff his gun or make the time that you can spend under the bubble a little bit bigger. And why do we keep getting characters that keep tossing out bubbles? I feel in a little bit I'll be able to have me and my crew pick an entire team of people who just do bubbles. Bubbles and shields. That's what I'm going to call it. Alright? And the only time that we'll be defeated is if we face a Symmetra. But other than that, everybody else will get so annoyed. It'll be so much damage stacked on top. So you get a good Winston, right? You get a good Zarya. You get a good Reinhardt. And then you get this stupid character, Orisa. That's 4 out of your 6 already that can produce bubbles and shields. If you put a Symmetra on that team and maybe a Torbjorn, you're looking at pure space AIDS. Pure space AIDS, people. Jeff, do you want space AIDS? We don't want it.
So it could be in front of her, could be slightly off to the side.
And I can
she could
position
use
it.
it in close on herself, or she could use it, further in front of her to shield an ally, and it creates a barrier.
Shield a butthole?
That has the normal amount of damage it can take, like other barriers in the game. You can destroy it. Things that go through barriers, like Symmetra's alternate fire, will go through this. So it's got a lot of utility to it.
You hate it when we pick
and
Symmetra.
a lot of use and a lot of protectiveness. And lastly, there's her ultimate ability, which is her supercharger. So she wears this drum-like item on her back. When her ultimate's up, she can take it off her back, throw it down on the ground, and it's effectively damage boosting anybody who's in line of sight.
Thank you, Jeff, for these poses. Yeah. So, I have the team now. It's an Ana. Yeah, I said it. It's an Ana. It's a Zarya. It's a Winston, Orisa, and a Reinhardt. Oh, I'm sorry. And then you can play a flex, either Roadhog, because he can heal himself too, right? And give himself charge after giving him damage boost from this, right? Or a Diva, right? Or a Symmetra. The rest of the team is locked in. I want to play this team immediately and then put together a video compilation of us just raping people. And then I want this face from Jeff to be at the end montage, because they're not thinking about comps like this. They're not thinking of the retarded stuff. And this can get really out of hand, especially if you got a well-coordinated team. This can be really bad, okay? We're not even at the end, people. I'm so sorry. I gotta let them finish, but this is bad. If you don't see this is bad already, wait till you play it.
Of the supercharger. Now, the thing about the supercharger is that the enemy team can kill the supercharger. So you really need to make sure to protect your supercharger, either with your protective barrier, or maybe you want to put the supercharger, just off to the side, out of line of sight of your enemies.
With your Symmetra teleporter. So that's why Symmetra could go with this team. Symmetra could also put down a shield barrier. And if this thing has health, so help me God, if shield barrier gives health to the supercharger, then it's really dumb. It's overpowered immediately.
Side of your teammates. So there's some gameplay there to figuring out where the supercharger is, because if the enemy team kills it right away, then your team loses all of that benefit.
Not if you pick the team with all bubbles.
Now, with Orisa, I really want to talk about why are we adding another tank? Because I know that topic will come up, and a lot of people are sort of wondering,
already up,
how
Jeff.
do we pick what heroes come next? And there's a lot of reasons for that, but primarily with Orisa, we were looking at our tank lineup, and we have heroes like Diva and Winston who are much more disruptive in terms of tank.
You mean just Diva?
Tanking. They're much more defined by their mobility. They like to get in, they like to get out, they don't stay in one place for too long. They cause a lot of disruption and harassment. You've got somebody like Roadhog, who he's all about punishing people who are out of position and positioning himself to punish people who are out of position. So, he plays a very different sort of role. But
this is the most truth that he's spoken all video, because all this stuff about Orisa is just, it's something else, guys. It's something else.
Spending a lot of time looking at Reinhardt and saying, what really defines Reinhardt and why is he so important and critical to Overwatch? And we started to describe Reinhardt, the term that we would use on the development team was we'd call him an anchor tank.
You mean a meat shield? You mean it took a whole round table of people to figure out why Winston is so overplayed? He's the only character in the game that not only gets the biggest stack of health, but also gets the fattest shield that can move proper. And he can angle it and do all this crazy stuff with it. If you took away his shield effectively, no one would play that character. If all he had was Flame Strike and Charge, he would be the worst character. So I don't see why it took a whole round table of lead devs to figure out why Reinhardt is so played.
And what we mean by that is that Reinhardt almost anchors the entire team. The team, with a properly positioned Reinhardt, the team builds and positions around Reinhardt. Because he doesn't have a lot of mobility abilities, and because he has that protective barrier in front of him, you sort of know where to position yourself and when the team is going to engage or disengage based upon what Reinhardt is doing. So we like this idea of what we kept calling an anchor tank. And we felt like players needed more
rape tank
options in that sort of anchor tank role. We wanted another tank that teams could build around and position around. And even though we think that tanks like Winston and D.Va are really great in what they bring to the game, they're not necessarily bringing what Reinhardt was bringing. So we hope
Reinhardt itself isn't bringing anything. Like, the team built around the Reinhardt is what makes the team. I've seen people pick Reinhardt and then the rest of the team scatter and then he just dies. It's not like he himself is OP once again. It's the fact that you can build a team around using his shield and then do something. What you have just produced is a Reinhardt 2.0. You have introduced real space aids. The mobility on this character is supposed to be good outside of fire rate. Okay, right? You're supposed to be able to project a bubble, right? And then you yourself can initiate crowd control for mini combos. Okay? You have already put Reinhardt in the dirt. Aside from Reinhardt being on the team as an extra meat shield once again, you could probably swap him out for the Roadhog and then run another DPS to help try and protect the Ana and do some more damage. But literally staying on the payload, Winston might actually have a place now. Now people are going to make an outcry to buff the Winston. I guarantee it.
Hope that in Orisa there is now another option to a low mobility tank, but one that brings a high amount of protection in her protective barrier, where you kind of see her on the battlefield and go, oh, okay, we're approaching from this angle. I will get behind Orisa. I'll follow Orisa. She'll put the barrier up. We'll follow her in and we'll engage in that regard.
Yeah.
So we know that there are concerns about.
And why do you keep calling her low mobility? It's not like Reinhardt is the fastest mofo out there either. The only time he can get somewhere is when he needs to charge. And that usually is in somewhere that's out of combat to try and get to combat faster. Other than that, you don't really want to charge unless it's another Reinhardt and you have your team helping as well. But other than that, he's low mobility too. So if her mobility matches anything like his with the abilities, once again, already better.
Barriers in the game. We've actually, we've been working on Bastion, retuning him to be more effective against barriers. We do
AIDS.
have some very effective heroes against barriers right now. For example, Symmetra with her alternate fire goes directly through them.
Oh yeah.
Obviously,
That's a big problem, right? When people stay inside the bubble and just re-heal themselves, because heals don't exist.
Reinhardt's Fire Strike goes through barriers as well. Junkrat's
I want him fire striking and not holding up his barrier, right?
grenades do tremendous damage to barriers and will melt them very quickly. And if barriers become too much of a thing, we're looking at those in terms of balance and how to adjust it.
Get ready for it.
Most of all, we just wanted to bring a new and exciting hero to Overwatch. Not only does she fill a role that we...
What happened to Doomfist then? That seemed like a new and exciting hero. Because I bet you if anything, Doomfist is going to have some kind of like rocket punch. It's going to be equivalent to... let's say Reinhardt's charge, but just with the fist. And I bet you it'll just crack everything. Like any type of bubble or shield put up, I bet you it'll just crack it. And if that's not an ability, that's definitely gonna be like his ultimate or something. He's gonna be like, I'll bring down a skyscraper and then just crack it. It's just done. And then that's when the team's supposed to go in, or it's gonna do like splash damage on impact or something like that. It's gonna do something dumb. So they just keep putting out these bubble characters, right? And then they're gonna give us Doomfist. And then it's gonna be over.
We felt was very needed, not just a tank, but one of these anchor tanks that you really build a team around.
Build it.
We also felt like Orisa was visually
Told you.
challenging. We often hear that, when it comes to female characters, they tend to be more limited in their size and appearance, where the male characters get these really like big and challenging visual designs that are very exciting. And we've heard a lot of desire to have a very
is this really a
visually
desire?
challenging female characters.
We do. Look at all of the costumes you've come out with for all the females. All of the females in the game have gotten the most detailed costumes. Like, yeah, Winston got like a whole terraform or whatever, but look at characters like May, Tracer, Symmetra, what's her name? Widow. Almost forgot she existed for a second. All these characters have very intricate, detailed costumes. So I don't see where the outcry came from. If anything, people are just doing that on purpose to bait you guys to make more sexy costumes.
So that was fun for us to explore as well. So we really wanted to bring that to Overwatch. And most of all, we wanted to bring a really cool hero with a lot of backstory that really rounded out our current cast. That is not only these old school heroes who took part in the old Overwatch and Talon and Omnic battles of the past, but really brought something new and gave us some new hope to look forward to what are the heroes of the future going to bring to Overwatch. So we're really looking forward to all the feedback we're going to get on Orisa. We're going to keep working on her until she's just right and just perfect. We hope you enjoy her, and thank you very much. We'll see you soon.
Wow. Just wow. Brief overview. Another tank that can't be crowd controlled, that can do crowd control, that is a mixture of like 3 different other characters' traits, and if put with a whole other team, can just be, this character is going to break, no, I'm sorry. This character is going to make an entire new meta. Entire. This might be bad, guys. This might be RIP Overwatch. Might be. You see that face on Jeff right now? He's sleep. He's sleep. They're done. They're done. I would really hope to keep playing this game, and don't come on, you're gonna be like, who is this guy or whatever, right? I mean, I only have like close to 150 play hours, right? But what's going on with this? Why? It doesn't need to happen like this, but hopefully they listen and they do something about it immediately, because I just see this being bad. I like the character design, don't get me wrong, the character looks cool, and I'm pretty sure gonna have like a ton of skins. They're gonna support the character right, but as far as meta is concerned, this Bastion, this new Bastion with Reinhardt meta right now is already bad. But then you add those two characters with this character and some of the other compositions that I talked about earlier. I don't know, man. I don't know. But I still like the game, and I'm hopeful. But let me know what you think. Leave a comment down in the comments, and I'll try and get back to you and see what we can do. Peace.